This is the Raspberry Pi, a board which has democratized the power of computing and has sold over 50 million devices since 2012. This tiny computer, which costs less than $50, can power robots, run AI models, control your smart devices, or even run satellites in space.
I bought this beauty from Amazon.
But it can also be bought from Robo.in, which is a very successful Pune based company.
The form factor for a Pi 5 and Pi 4 are similar, except for the alignments of some components. So be careful while buying the cases. Not all cases are the same. This case says it's for a Pi 4 and don't make my mistake of believing that it will fit a Pi 5.
That is the slot for the SD card, which we will use to flash the Raspbian, or the OS for the Raspberry.
You can buy any of these SD cards, depending on your application requirement. I will now use the Raspberry Imager to flash the SSD card with the OS. The 32-bit one can be chosen if you plan to install some legacy devices. Otherwise, the 64-bit OS does the work for us. I will choose the SSD card for the storage option. In the edit settings, I can change the host name, the username and PWD and the Wi-Fi details. Start flashing the SSD card. Once the OS is written, the SD card can be removed from the reader.
Now that the Raspberry OS has been flashed to the SD drive, we will insert it into the board, connect to the power supply, and try to find out its IP address.
Run a program called as WNetWatcher and use it to scan for the Raspberry Pi device. We will then use PuTTY to SSH into the device.
As a best practice, we need to set up a virtual environment for installing all the relevant packages. But first, let's refresh the available packages by doing a sudo update. For this, I need to deactivate from the virtual environment.
We again activate the environment for installing Ultralytics.
The documentation that I am referring asks us to install the export package along with it. This is to allow for the YOLO model to be exported into an NCNN format, which is highly optimized to run on a resource constrained device like a Raspberry. However, this doesn't take place, but we can install it separately. So this is the final output. It works pretty good in daylight, and as you will see soon, on night vision. But the most important point to note is that this entire processing is taking place on the Raspberry Pi processor, and I am not adding any external computing. But this results in a high CPU core temperature. That core temperature can go as high as 80 to 85 degrees Celsius or 176 degree Fahrenheit. I have seen too many production deployments fail because thermal management was an afterthought. So I geeked out and bought this aluminum case for a few bucks on Amazon. It uses superior metal cooling towers and better thermal tape to reduce the core temperatures by 25 to 30 degrees. The math is simple. Proper cooling cost a few more rupees, but system downtime and hardware replacement cost significantly more. For AI at the edge, thermal design isn't optional, it's reliability engineering.
So now that we have got the reliability part out of our way, let's check how to download and make our first inference.
YOLO models can be exported to NCNN format. This format is highly optimized for mobile devices, consuming minimal resources while delivering quick and precise inference. It is lightweight and has a very high speed of inference on an edge device like a Raspberry.
Exporting a YOLO model to NCNN format is as simple as using the export CLI command. Once the model is exported, you can use it from the command line or wrap it in your Python interfaces. Let's use the YOLO predict function to run inference on an image. I am using the sample provided on the Ultralytics page. The model has detected 4 persons in a bus, and the total inference time took around 120 milliseconds. Let's download the image locally to check if the inference was correct. As you can see that there is a bus and 4 people in the image. So pretty good job. This was an Edge AI 101 video. We have shown you some basics to get started. Going forward we will be sharing more such videos. Please do like and subscribe.